Welcome back to Before You Vote. We are having conversations with the superintendent candidates for Maricopa County. Joining us, the Democrat candidate, Dr. Laura Metcalf. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Broomhead.
Going to ask the same questions of both candidates to be fair. Let's start with qualifications and what the job is. Can you explain what you believe the most important role of the superintendent in the county is and why you are qualified for that job?
Certainly. The most important elements of this job or this office, number one, is to replace school board members who step down from their seats. And it's also to provide services and supports to the 58 school districts here in Maricopa County. My qualifications include having been an employee in that office. I was an administrator in that office. And I also worked for the Accommodation School District, which is also part of the office. That's an overlay school district that provides services and education for some of our most vulnerable elements. I was an administrator there. I oversaw special education and about $1.5 million in grants. And when I worked for the county schools office, I was the small schools administrator, where I provided direct services and supports and oversaw grants and other funding programs for rural schools here in Maricopa County. The other element that I believe I'm qualified for is that I'm certified as a school district superintendent. And I have 21 years of school district leadership experience from the classroom to the district office, managing budgets and grants and programs and ensuring that state and federal laws are in place and overseen and supported.
Based on what has been going on in the office, where do you think the holes are? What do you think needs to improve first when you go into the office?
So what needs to be improved first is the accountability of fiscal use of our taxpayer money. There's between $10 and $14 million of misplaced money and misspent money due to the incumbent's lack of adherence to state law. So financial integrity is first and foremost.
So when you look at it's such a massive county. Are there ways you can improve support for teachers? What is it that needs to happen in support for teachers to retain them? Because school shortages, that's one of the biggest issues. Is that a role in your office?
So in this office, that can be done, absolutely. To retain and recruit teachers, what we need to do is work with the legislature and make sure that we can provide school funding that would be sufficient for teacher raises. We also need to be able to provide enough individuals to be able to take some of those duties off of a teacher's plate. When you are teaching 150 students a day and you have to do lunch duty and bus duty and curriculum duty and all these other responsibilities there and making sure that those kids are learning and meeting the state standards, there needs to be an opportunity for classroom aides, smaller classroom sizes. All of those are elements that this office can help support legislation in those areas.
So when you look at it, is it difficult running against a colleague? Because I know you both sit on the EVIT school board together. Does it add an element of difficulty because you work together? You currently work together on a school board.
Correct. It does, but I will say that Shelley and I do have a good working relationship together on the EVIT school board. But we also make sure that we keep the politics of our campaigns out of the EVIT school board area, because that is not EVIT business. And so once we're able to keep that out and we get to the work of EVIT alone, then we do great things.
Would you agree, what would you say are some of the successes that have been accomplished on that EVIT school board? Because I have such respect for the CTEDs because of my background in construction. What are some of the big successes since you've been there?
Since I've been there, I think the Hope Tech element has been a phenomenal support for our foster youth. And so being able to take that and then make sure that those students are supported and making sure that they get what they need, but so that they can be supported outside of the foster system has been incredibly helpful. I think the other piece that's been really helpful is being able to push down the pre-apprenticeship programs or the apprenticeship programs down into pre-apprenticeship programs for high school students. We are currently doing that, and I was helpful with that matter as well.
And you've been able to reduce costs and get teacher raises. It seems like you've been kind of leading the way on a lot of those issues.
Correct.
Last question then about this is, both of you made a commitment to not go negative. Was that because of your working relationship at EVIT? And how do you believe that your opponent has kept that promise, and do you believe you have as well?
I believe that we have communicated some elements that has been in our backgrounds that voters need to be aware of in order to make an informed choice. So I believe that we haven't been terribly negative, but I do believe that there's been elements in both our backgrounds that has to be put out to the voters for their information.
I certainly appreciate the time. I know it's a busy campaign. I wish you the best and I hope to talk to you in the future.
Thank you so much, Mr. Broomhead.
All right, Dr. Laura Metcalf running for Maricopa County Superintendent. Be an informed voter. We'll be right back.